guys, it's Anthony here. As you saw by the opening credits, yes, this is my recovery story. So through this video here, I'm going to be taking you with me on my journey from the time of the accident until the time that you're seeing this video. So I hope you guys enjoy. So on April 8th, 2020, at approximately 4 o'clock in the morning, I made a 911 call. And in that 911 call, I had called 911 to report that I had been in an accident. And when I got the 911 operator on the phone, I said to her, I don't know what's going on, but I had just been in an accident. I don't know my location. And through the GPS system that 911 operators have, the operator was able to determine my location through that GPS system and was able to find my location and get it to the first responders. And during all of this, the first responders responded to me within about 5 minutes. And all the while, the dispatcher was on the phone with me until they arrived. Once the first responders got on scene, they started assessing the situation, talking to me. I was talkative. I was never knocked out or unconscious or anything like that during this whole process. And so I truly thank the dispatcher for taking the time to take my 911 call in my time of need. It took first responders about 33 minutes to extract me from my vehicle. And after the vehicle extraction, they transported me to Sierra Vista Regional Medical Center, where I went in the emergency room to further assess my injury. So once I got into the emergency room at Sierra Vista, it was determined that I had a compound fracture to my left femur, and it required a surgery. The surgery happened approximately 2 days after the accident, so we're looking at probably April 10th, where they removed what was left of the femur, and they put a steel rod that now goes from my left hip down to my left knee. And once again, that's replacing my left femur. So these are x-rays, and as you can see in the picture, the broken bone, and you can see where the steel rod is in place. Also during this accident, I broke the tip of my left middle finger. As you can see from the pictures, I had a pin in the tip of it. So take a look from the time of the accident until where the finger is now. It took about 6 months for the fingernail to grow back on the left finger, and that is after the doctor told me at Sierra Vista that I will most likely never have a nail grow back on that finger again. And also during the same time, I had the pin in the finger. I couldn't really use the hand at all, except to lift my body weight up off and stand up that way, and also carry my phone or my laptop or whatever else that I'm carrying in my hand that didn't require one finger. So from that, I couldn't make a fist. I couldn't do any of the hand motions I'm doing right here. But like I said, 6 months later, after the doctor had told me that, there is now obviously a nail there, and I went back to the doctor and told him that, and he was rather surprised. I spent about 2 weeks in Sierra Vista from April 8th to April 21st. During that time, I was assessed by many doctors and physical therapists. I was not able to walk without assistance on my own due to the fact of the injury that happened on my left femur, and I didn't know it at the time that I had injured my right leg as well. During my last couple of days at Sierra Vista before I went to the acute rehab center at Aurora Grande Hospital, it was determined that in my right leg I had multi-ligament damage that required surgery at some point. On April 21st, 2020, I left the Sierra Vista Regional Medical Center in San Luis and went to the acute rehab center in Aurora Grande. And while I was there in Aurora Grande for that week, from April 21st to May 1st, I gained a lot of my strength back in my left leg because my left leg was going to play as a stabilizer for when I'm recovering from the multi-ligament damage surgery that I was going to have in the coming weeks. So on June 22nd, 2020, I had knee surgery at Keck Medical Center of USC. And within that surgery, the surgery consisted of them replacing my ligaments in my right knee. I tore all of the ligaments except for the ACL. And with talking with the surgeon afterwards, the surgeon said that the surgery took approximately 4 hours. After the surgery, I stayed overnight in the hospital for observation to make sure that nothing went wrong after I had woken up. And then the next day I went home, and I was really dependent on my parents, my mom and dad, and because I couldn't put weight on my right knee for like 6 to 8 weeks. The next 6 to 8 weeks was really tough because I'm used to being on my feet and being out and about and being active, and obviously not being able to do so is really tough. So I really shout out to my parents, to my mom and dad for being there, like getting me dinner, giving me lunch, giving me breakfast and all that stuff. So shout out to the two of them. Also during that time, I went to another doctor's appointment, and my doctor released me to go to physical therapy. Physical therapy started in early August of 2020, and it was tough in the beginning because I had never been to physical therapy, and my dad told me even before I started physical therapy to have the mindset of an athlete, and I've been an athlete all my life, and so I kind of had to get into that mindset of an athlete. And it was really tough in the beginning, obviously with what I had just been through, so I had to really kind of double down and get into that athletic mindset again. I had been doing physical therapy from August to November, and on November 2nd, I went back to LA for another surgery. And that surgery was to remove the scar tissue that had formed in my right knee. From that surgery on November 2nd, they removed the scar tissue. I continued physical therapy, and then a short time later, I got this like really bad pain one morning and I didn't know what it was from. And so luckily, like the next week, I had another appointment with my surgeon down in LA, and it was determined that I had a little tiny infection. I knew that something was wrong with my knee because there was this excruciating pain that just came out of nowhere. And it wasn't until a week later that I had a scheduled appointment with the doctor back in Los Angeles. And during the time that there was the excruciating pain, it was like I was living on Norco for the whole week until I was able to go see the doctor. And once I got to the doctor's office and he felt around and he could barely like touch my knee, like I was in that much pain. It was at that point that he thought in his mind that it was an infection, and sure enough, it was. Once it was determined that it was an infection, I went into surgery like a couple days after that to irrigate the infection and take the infection away. And I was in the hospital for the next 4 days after that to further evaluate the situation and to make sure that there was no other infection starting or any other issue that pertains to my knee during this time. The hospital sent me home with a PICC line and needed antibiotics 3 times a day. The antibiotic needed to be injected 3 times a day, so that meant morning, noon, and night. So, and in that injection, it was to further subdue the infection and take away what was left of the infection and prevent another infection as well. So that happened for about 6 to 8 weeks as well. So it was an additional protocol that needed to happen for prevention of any further infection. So I'm sure you all are wondering how I'm doing now. I'm doing great now. I'm back up and walking again, and I'm still going to physical therapy. My doctor thinks that I'll be in physical therapy for the next 1.5 years, maybe 2 years. But I'm gonna put some videos in this next slide here that'll show you my progress through physical therapy. So those are just a few videos of my progress during this last year of physical therapy. So now I'm gonna give a few thank yous. This is my mother, Melanie. This is my dad, Charlie. This is my surgeon, Dr. George Hatch. This is his assistant, Soraya Diaz. This is my physical therapist, Justin Milson. I thank each and every one of you for helping me through this time, this last year. It's been a journey for all of us, even those who I didn't mention, because there's just so many people who have helped me through this time, and I just appreciate every single one of you and every single person that has sent me a text, called me on a daily basis, checked on me, my co-workers. I pay homage to you guys. Really, I pay homage to each and every one of you who have been a part of this journey with me. It's been a long year, but here we are, and we're still good. We're still above ground, and I just thank each and every one of you. So thank you.